Hello everyone, Corey here. You ready for part 3 of the Master Key System? So far we've made it to 20 minutes of meditation, while at the same time repeating our mantras. For those of you who don't know what a mantra is, I'm going to go ahead and explain it to you. So, what is a mantra? A mantra is a sound, syllable, word, or group of words that is considered capable of creating transformation. The Sanskrit word mantra consists of the root man, to think, also in manas, mind, and the suffix tra, meaning tools or instruments. Hence, a literal translation would be instrument of thought or mind tools. What is a Biha mantra? Biha means seed. The Biha mantras are one-syllable seed sounds that, when said aloud, activate the energy of the chakras in order to purify your mind, which is ajna, and your soul, which is your body. When you speak the Biha mantras, you resonate with the energy of the associated chakra, helping you focus upon your own awareness of your soul and its needs. What is a chakra? In Sanskrit, chakra translates into wheel. These wheels can be thought of as vortexes that both receive and radiate energy. There are 7 major energy centers, aka chakras, in the human soul. And 7 major energy centers. We have 7 planets. And each one of our chakras has come from one of the 7 planets, each with its own characters, each with its own specific qualities. They run from the base of the spine to the crown of the head. Emotions, physical health, and mental clarity affect how well each chakra can filter energy. This in turn dictates how pure the energy is that's emitted from different regions of the soul. Now here are the 7 chakra sounds that you can repeat aloud. It is important that you do repeat them aloud because your words are a form of energy. They literally give form and shape to your thoughts, what you are thinking. And when you speak these mantras, you are resonating with the specific energy of your chakra systems. So you're basically giving it more energy. So chakra 1, the root chakra, which is Muladhara. And the seed sound for Muladhara is Lam. Now chakra 2 is the sacral chakra, which is Svadhisthana. In the Biha mantra for the Svadhisthana is Vam, V-A-M. And then chakra number 3 is the solar plexus chakra, which is Manipura. And the seed sound for Manipura is Ram, R-A-M. Chakra number 4 is the heart chakra, which is the Anahata. And then the seed sound for Anahata is Yam, Y-A-M. Now chakra number 5, which is your throat chakra, which is responsible for your speaking, is Visuddha. And that one is Ham, H-A-M. And chakra number 6 and chakra number 7 have the same seed sound. Chakra 6, which is your third eye chakra, which is Ajna, which is your mind, because your mind is the connecting link between the spirit and the soul. And that one is Om, O-M. And chakra number 7, which is the crown chakra, which is Sahasrara. That one is also Om. Okay? So, we completed our last 2 weeks of meditating. We've been repeating our mantras, and I can't even begin to tell you how clear and profound I feel. That being said, are you ready for part 3 of the Master Key System? Okay. You have found that the individual may act on the universal, and that the result of this action and interaction is cause and effect. Thought, therefore, is the cause, and the experiences with which you meet in life are the effect. Eliminate, therefore, any possible tendency to complain of conditions as they may have been or as they are, because it rests with you to change them and make them what you would like them to be. Direct your effort to the realization of the mental resources always at your command, from which all real and lasting power comes. Persist in this practice until you come to a realization of the fact that there can be no failure in the accomplishment of any proper object in life. If you but understand your power and persist in your object, because the mind forces are ever ready to lend themselves to a purposeful will, in the effort to crystallize thought and desire into actions, events, and conditions. Whereas in the beginning of each function of life and each additional action is the result of conscious thought, the habitual actions become automatic, and the thought that controls them passes into the realm of the subconscious. In order that the self-conscious mind may attend to other things, the new actions will, however, in their turn become habitual, then automatic, then subconscious, in order that the mind again may be freed from this detail and advance to still other activities. When you realize this, you will have found a source of power which will enable you to take care of any situation in life which may develop. Now, part 3. That was the introduction I just read you. The necessary interaction of the conscious and subconscious mind requires a similar interaction between the corresponding systems of nerves. Judge Troward indicates the very beautiful method in which this interaction is effected. He says, the cerebrospinal system is the organ of the conscious mind, and the sympathetic is the organ of the subconscious. The cerebrospinal, which consists of the brain and spinal cord, is the channel through which we receive conscious perception from the physical senses and exercise control over the movements of the body. This system of nerves has its center in the brain. The sympathetic system has its center in a ganglionic mass at the back of the stomach, known as the solar plexus, and is the channel of that mental action which unconsciously supports the vital functions of the body. The connection between the two systems is made by the vague nerve, which passes out of the cerebral region as a portion of the voluntary system of the thorax, sending out branches to the heart and lungs, and finally, passing through the diaphragm, it loses its outer coating and becomes identified with the nerves of the sympathetic system, so forming a connecting link between the two and making man physically a single entity. Now, it's very interesting he says that, because when I took my course for my NASM training, I learned how the sympathetic nervous system and the cerebrospinal nervous system, yeah, they're connected, but also they have their own individual function. For example, the sympathetic nervous system is what he is saying is connected with the subconscious mind. And that makes a lot of sense, because the sympathetic nervous system is the part of your nervous system that responds to things before you even consciously realize it. Like, let's say, for example, you touch a very, very hot object. You automatically pull it off because the sympathetic nervous system sensed that before the signals of it being hot transfer all the way to your brain. It goes to the sympathetic nervous system first. So the sympathetic nervous system automatically pulls it off. That's how you have that instinctive reaction. It's the instinctive reaction. It does it itself before you could consciously make the decision, like, wow, that was hot. Does that make sense? Okay. We have seen that every thought is received by the brain, which is the organ of the conscious. It is here subjected to our power of reasoning. When the objective mind has been satisfied that the thought is true, it is sent to the solar plexus, or the brain of the subconscious, or the subjective mind, which is the subconscious mind, to be made into our flesh, to be brought forth into the world of reality. It is then no longer susceptible to any argument whatever. The subconscious mind cannot argue, it only acts. It accepts the conclusions of the objective mind as final. The solar plexus has been likened to the sum of the body, because it is a central point of distribution for the energy which the body is constantly generating. This energy is very real energy, and this sun is a very real sun, and the energy is being distributed by very real nerves to all parts of the body. It is thrown off in an atmosphere which envelops the body. If this radiation is sufficiently strong, the person is called magnetic. He is said to be filled with personal magnetism. Such a person may wield an immense power for good. His presence alone will often bring comfort to the troubled minds with which he comes in contact. When the solar plexus is in active operation and is radiating life, energy, and vitality to every part of the body and to everyone whom he meets, the sensations are pleasant, the body is filled with health, and all with whom he comes in contact experience a pleasant sensation. If there is any interruption of this radiation, the sensations are unpleasant. The flow of life and energy to some part of the body is stopped, and this is the cause of every ill to the human race, physical, mental, or environmental. So, if there is any interruption of this radiating energy, if you have any interruptions within your chakra systems, your energy centers, these are the causes of the ills and corruptions and disruptions within your physical being. And that in turn will cause sickness and a lot of other internal disasters that don't need to be there. Physical, because the sun of the body is no longer generating sufficient energy to vitalize some part of the body. Mental, because the conscious mind is dependent upon the subconscious mind for the vitality necessary to support its thought. And environmental, because the connection between the subconscious mind and the universal mind is being interrupted. The solar plexus is the point at which the part meets with the whole, where the finite becomes infinite, where the uncreate becomes create, the universal becomes individualized, the invisible becomes visible. It is the point at which life appears, and there is no limit to the amount of life an individual may generate from this solar center. This center of energy is omnipotent because it is the point of contact with all life and all intelligence. It can therefore accomplish whatever it is directed to accomplish, and herein lies the power of the conscious mind. The subconscious can and will carry out such plans and ideas as may be suggested to it by the conscious mind. Conscious thought, then, is master of this sun center, from which the life and energy of the entire body flows. And the quality of the thought which we entertain determines the quality of the thought which this sun will radiate, and the character of the thought which our conscious mind entertains will determine the character of the thought which this sun will radiate, and the nature of the thought which our conscious mind entertains will determine the nature of the thought which this sun will radiate, and consequently will determine the nature of the experience which will result. It is evident, therefore, that all we have to do is to let our light shine. The more energy we can radiate, the more rapidly shall we be enabled to transmute undesirable conditions into sources of pleasure and profit. The important question, then, is how to let this light shine, and how to generate this energy. Non-resistant thought expands the solar plexus. Resistant thought contracts it. Unpleasant thought expands it. Unpleasant thoughts contracts it. Thoughts of courage, power, confidence, and hope all produce a corresponding state. But the one arch-enemy of the solar plexus, which must be absolutely destroyed before there is any possibility of letting any light shine, is fear. This enemy must be completely destroyed. He must be eliminated. He must be expelled forever. He is the cloud which hides the sun, which causes a perpetual gloom. It is this personal devil which makes men fear the past, the present, and the future, fear themselves, their friends, and their enemies, fear everything and everybody. When fear is effectually and completely destroyed, your light will shine. The clouds will disperse, and you will have found the source of power, energy, and life. When you find that you are really one with the infinite power, and when you can consciously realize this power by a practical demonstration of your ability to overcome any adverse conditions by the power of your thought, you will have nothing to fear. Fear will have been destroyed, and you will have come into the possession of your birthright. It is our attitude of mind towards life which determines the experiences with which we are to meet. If we expect nothing, we shall have nothing. If we demand much, we shall receive the greater portion. The world is harsh only as we fail to assert ourselves. The criticism of the world is bitter only to those who cannot compel room for their ideas. It is fear of this criticism that causes many ideas to fail to see the light of day. But the man who knows that he has a solar plexus will not fear criticism or anything else. He will be too busy radiating courage, confidence, and power. He will anticipate success by his mental attitude. He will pound barriers to pieces and leap over the chasm of doubt and hesitation which fear places in his path. A knowledge of our ability to consciously radiate energy, strength, and harmony will bring us into a realization that there is nothing to fear because we are in touch with infinite strength. This knowledge can be gained only by making practical application of this information. We learn by doing. Through practice, the athlete becomes powerful. As the following statement is of considerable importance, I will put it in several ways so you cannot fail to get the full significance of it. If you are religiously inclined, I would say, you can let your light shine. If your mind has a bias towards physical science, I would say you can wake the solar plexus, or if you prefer strictly the scientific interpretation, I would say you can impress your subconscious mind. I have already told you what the result of this impression will be. It is the method in which you are now interested. You have already learned that the subconscious is intelligent and that it is creative and responsive to the will of the conscious mind. What, then, is the most natural way of making the desired impression? Mentally concentrate on the object of your desire. When you are concentrating, you are impressing the subconscious mind. This is not the only way, but it is a simple and effective way, and the most direct way, and consequently, the way in which the best results are secured. It is the method which is producing such extraordinary results that many think that miracles are being accomplished. It is the method by which every great inventor, every great financier, every great statesman has been enabled to convert the subtle and invisible forces of desire, faith, and confidence into actual, tangible, concrete facts in the objective world. The subconscious mind is a part of the universal mind. The universal is the creative principle of the universe. A part must be the same in kind and quality as the whole. Like I was saying, your chakra centers are the 7 energy centers from which have been embodied inside of you from the whole. And if you can open up these energy centers, you will be able to let your light shine. This means that this creative power is absolutely unlimited. It is not bound by precedent of any kind, and consequently has no prior existing pattern by which to apply its constructive principle. We have found that the subconscious mind is responsive to our conscious will, which means that the unlimited creative power of the universal mind is within control of the conscious mind of the individual. When making a practical application of this principle, in accordance with the exercises given in the subsequent lessons, it is well to remember that it is not necessary to outline the method by which the subconscious will produce the results you desire. The finite cannot inform the infinite. You are simply to say what you desire, not how you are to obtain it. Ask, and it shall be given. But you must believe that you will receive, and it will come to you at the perfect time. You are the channel by which the undifferentiated is being differentiated, and this differentiation is being accomplished by appropriation. It only requires recognition to set causes in motion which will bring about results in accordance with your desire. And this is accomplished because the universal can act only through the individual, and the individual can act only through the universal. They are one. For your exercise this week, I will ask you to go one step further. I want you to not only be perfectly still and inhibit all thought as far as possible, but relax, let go, let the muscles take their normal conditions. This will remove all pressure from the nerves and eliminate that tension which so frequently produced physical exhaustion. Physical relaxation is a voluntary exercise of the will, and the exercise will be found to be of great value, as it enables the blood to circulate freely to and from the brain and body. Tensions lead to mental unrest and abnormal mental activity of the mind. It produces worry, care, fear, and anxiety. Relaxation is, therefore, an absolute necessity in order to allow the mental faculties to exercise the greatest freedom. Make this exercise as thorough and complete as possible. Mentally determine that you will relax every muscle and nerve until you feel quiet and restful and at peace with yourself and the world. The solar plexus will then be ready to function, and you will be surprised at the results. Now that will be the end of part 3. I'm going to read to you study questions and answers. 1. What system of nerves is the organ of the conscious mind? The cerebrospinal, which is the brain and the spinal cord. What system of nerves is the organ of the subconscious mind? The sympathetic nervous system. What is the central point of distribution for energy, which the body is constantly generating? The solar plexus. What is the result of such interruption? I had skipped a question. How may this distribution be interrupted? By resistant, critical, discordant thoughts, but especially fear. What is the result of such interruption? Every ill with which the human race is afflicted. How may this energy be controlled and directed? By conscious thought. How may fear be completely eliminated? By an understanding and recognition of the true source of all power. What determines the experiences with which we meet in life? Our predominant mental attitude. Attitude, the way we think, the way we feel, and then the way we act. What determines the experiences with which we meet in life? Our predominant mental attitude. Okay, I just read that one. How may we awake the solar plexus? Mentally concentrate upon the condition which we desire to see manifested in our life. What is the creative principle of the universe? The universal mind. Now that will be the end of part 3. If you guys made it to the end of this video, please like it. If you did like it, share it if you thought it was good. I'm here doing God's work, which is helping those who are looking for a better way to live find it. Because we were all created in God's image. We're all spiritual beings. We have a mind. We're inhabiting this soul, this body. And that being said, you guys, I'll see you next week for part 4 of the Master Key System.